What a week it's been in the NHL world. And with all these trades and the draft that recently just happened in Montreal, we have a lot to talk about. I'm back, guys. First, before all the drafts happened, there was one big trade that happened. Ryan McDonagh, the alternate captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, was traded to the Nashville Predators for Philip Myers, the defenseman, and forward Grant Mismash. This move signals win now for the Nashville Predators as they acquired the 33-year-old defenseman after their run came to a stop in the first round of the playoffs, getting swept by the Colorado Avalanche, which is mainly in part due to injuries. Now, the Predators are going all in with this move, as Ryan McDonagh has a lot of hockey left in him and is a very good player. Tampa Bay got a solid return for him, but he will be definitely missed with an organization. But then again, Tampa Bay has a lot of talent, so they should be just fine. Two big trades went down on draft day on July 7th. The first one was the Colorado Avalanche. Their goaltender, Darcy Kemper, who was a big part of their cup run, has decided to go and look for a new team in free agency because the Colorado Avalanche don't have much money. So they went and they traded for a Rangers backup goaltender, Alexander Georgiev. And in this trade, the Avalanche gave up 3 picks to the New York Rangers. This is a surprising move as they had plenty of options, as a high ceiling, and they hope that he pays off. If not, they might be going back to the market to search for a goalie, even though they did make the right move on protecting Philip Grubauer, as he had a not very great season in Seattle. Former Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender Matt Murray, who was traded to the Ottawa Senators a couple years ago, might have just came with the biggest save of his life. He has an awful contract that has 2 years left on it and $6 million, and most teams don't want to pick it up, but the Senators want to get rid of it. So he was almost on his way to Buffalo, where the Senators would have given up their first round pick, 7th overall, and send that to the Sabres along with Matt Murray for their first round pick. Well, Matt Murray, who has a no trade clause, declined going to Buffalo, which this amazing trade happened for the Ottawa Senators, as later in the day they were able to talk with the Chicago Blackhawks and they acquired Alex DeBrincat. The forward has a lot of potential to be a very good star in this league, and he's going to be asking for $9, maybe $10 million per year. So the Chicago Blackhawks did not want to have to pay him, especially since they're rebuilding for the next couple of years. But the return they got for him should have been more. Even though they did get the 7th overall pick, they definitely should have got a lot more for Alex DeBrincat. And this is a steal by the Ottawa Senators, who have a lot of talent. And maybe not this year, but definitely by next year, they could definitely make a run to the playoffs and maybe a deep playoff run as well to the Cup. Another big trade that happened on draft day was the Montreal Canadiens trading for Kirby Dach from the Chicago Blackhawks for the 13th pick in the first round of the 2022 NHL draft. This sets up the Canadiens with a very strong young lineup, especially in the forwards, and they get to pair Dach with Cole Caulfield and Slavkovsky. Late at night, during the draft, the Chicago Blackhawks got a new goaltender as well. As you know, they've been very active, and now they got Peter Mrazek from the Toronto Maple Leafs, along with their 25th first-round pick, which was an absolute steal by them. Even though Peter Mrazek hasn't been the best as he used to be, he's still a good pickup for Chicago. On the second day of the draft, early in the morning, the Philadelphia Flyers completed a trade with the Carolina Hurricanes for defenseman Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo, although he has some controversy in his past, is a pretty good defenseman, and it's actually kind of funny because one time during his Instagram story, somebody asked him, "What's your least favorite NHL team?" And he said Philadelphia. So now he gets to go play for a team he really dislikes, but it also gives him a new opportunity as well, while the Carolina Hurricanes got a really good return for him. Now, to the draft itself, obviously the biggest surprise of the draft was Shane Wright's falling to Seattle at number 4 overall. Shane Wright, who played for the Kingston Frontenacs, was projected to go number 1 overall for years, and he is a really, really good player. And the Canadiens were, after winning the draft lottery, were heavily expected to take him. But things did not go the way they were supposed to go. After going hand on hand, trying to decide which one they wanted, they ended up selecting Slavkovsky first overall instead of Shane Wright. The New Jersey Devils, who needed a defenseman and not a center, they ended up going with Simon Nemec. When Arizona got on the clock at number 3, many thought Shane Wright was heading to play in the new college stadium the Coyotes will be playing in. But instead, they shocked by selecting another center, Logan Cooley, who was expected to go a couple picks after Shane Wright. Finally, Seattle Kraken, they were smart enough to pick Shane Wright 4th overall, and now they have a chance at their first franchise player in team history. All eyes are on December 9th as the Montreal Canadiens take on the Seattle Kraken, and Shane Wright gets his first chance at revenge against the team he thought he was going to be going to for the past couple of weeks. As Shane Wright says, he has a chip on his shoulder. It'll be interesting to see which of the two players turns out to be the best in this draft class. Another player who fell down the draft boards, Brad Lamberg. He's a center that was projected to go as high as 8th overall and ended up falling to pick number 30 for the Winnipeg Jets. It was a very interesting draft night, and even then, looking ahead to next year's draft, it might be even better. As some of the reporters were saying, some of these teams that traded out of the 3rd round for a 3rd pick next year, it has a lot more value than this year. And next year's top overall prospect is projected to be Connor Bedard, who plays for Regina Pats. Finally, before we wrap up tonight, we got to take a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins' first round pick, Owen Pickering, which is funny considering the Pittsburgh Steelers, their first 2 picks, Kenny Pickett and George Pickens. And now, the pick for the Penguins, Owen Pickering. So it'll be interesting to see who the Pirates end up taking in this year's MLB draft. You never know. Alright, that's all we have for hockey. It was a great draft. Everything went great. I loved it. It was my first year actually watching the draft, and so just kind of, paying attention who gets picked. I really enjoyed it. I like comparing it to the NFL draft, which I'm a huge fan of, and the NBA draft as well. And I think they did a pretty good job in Montreal, so I got to give a round of applause for the NHL and all the hard work they put in. And I'm so happy for all the young guys that got drafted, which is crazy considering some of these guys are only a year or 2 older than I am. But man, did it look older. All right, guys. That's it for me. Hope you guys have a great night. Make sure to click the link and subscribe for more Inside Sports. I'm Jaden Howland.